Now I would like to address every kid in Samoa who is thinking about suicide. I had just come back from recess playing tag. Yes, 2021, tag was the thing to do in the early 2000s, besides collecting Pokemon cards. When I get back to class, I see my sister weeping uncontrollably. I walk over to my sister and I ask, "What's wrong?" While my sister is sobbing, she shows me a nasty letter that was passed around the entire class. My name is Kuldip Shergill, and I was bullied in American Samoa. Growing up in American Samoa was such a beautiful thing. I had cousins who used to put sheets on their head and come by my room randomly, just to scare the out of me. It was a time when you'd play in the dirt, get scratched up, and do it again the next day. My favorite part was when all our cousins got together and played hide and seek, Samoan style.
Pum pum pum, okioi. Pum pum pum.
If you don't know what that is, you missed out as a child. Things were mostly great, but they weren't always great for the Afkasi kid. Afkasi is when you're not fully something. You're half of one thing and half of another. Maybe it was because I was also a nerd, I don't know. But I was always that ingia around the Samoans, and around the Indians, I was a Samoan kid. I could never fit in most places I went, but I'm glad I had my sister. In October 2020, an article was posted regarding suicide and cyberbullying in American Samoa, as it is still a major concern. Now, I don't know much in this life, but what I do know is how it feels to be on the outside. So here goes the part where I will be disliked by many in my society, but I feel American Samoa needs to hear this. A common issue in the American Samoan community is that we as a society love to compare. Rather than elevate one another or bring out the best in a person, we'd rather tell them, "I wish you were more like so-and-so's children. I wish you were more like that kid across the street. I wish you were more of," as if being you wasn't good enough. Now, while I never felt that personally from my parents, maybe once or twice, just kidding, Mom, you know I love you, I do know many kids who constantly heard those same lines from their parents every single day. Now, here's the worst part. Those kids that did feel inadequate by their parents, their teachers, or their society set out to destroy other innocent kids. Here's a picture of that innocent kid who went to school every single day just to be told that he was such a nerd. A kid who was teased because of how high his socks were. A kid who was bullied because of how his body looked. Now, that kid was blessed because I'm that kid. And that kid had a father who was mentally the toughest motherfucker I've ever met in my lifetime. My dad was that outsider, but he was the outsider who was loved by many of his students. That story for another day. But my dad taught me how important it was to be unapologetically you. To not give a damn about what people think. Because their opinion of you, as he would say, was none of your business. But for an 11-year-old kid, this 11-year-old kid, who valued the opinions of his classmates more than his parents, it was a hard pill to swallow. All he wanted was to be accepted, to be part of the cool kids. And so that kid opens this letter that was passed around his entire class, and anger overcomes him. Tears fall down his face because it was the first time he had learned a few new words. And the words were stripper, slut, hoe, from what I recall. And the person who these statements were directed to was his mother. Apparently, these bullies felt the need to pass a note around the entire class, dialoguing back and forth about these two Indian nerds who may be smart, who may have good grades, but their mother was a stripper, slut, hoe, and their father didn't know. For all the parents out there, I want you to imagine your 11-year-old learning that word for the first time and how you would feel if that was directed to your mother. Yes, I was enraged, and I confronted the bullies to apologize to my sister. And they did, but the bullying continued all the way through high school. To a point where some of these kids would have pretend boxing matches just to lure this innocent kid out in the back of a high school to see what he was made of. And they knew what I was made of. Now, the point of this video is to address a very common issue. A very, very common issue in American Samoa. And what better way to address the issue than for me to address my bullies. Dear bullies, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you felt the need to bully. While I don't condone it, I do understand. I thought long and hard, and I kept asking the question, why? Why did you bully? And I thought, it wasn't your fault, man. None of it was your fault. Our society, our teachers, I thought back, kept comparing some of you to the Indian nerd. And it wasn't fair to you, man. It wasn't fair to you at all. I tried imagining what it was like to be in your shoes and the kind of pain you went through every single day when someone kept telling you that you weren't good enough. And that was unfair to you. It was unfair to you, man. And so I thought back to what a monk said one time. And the monk said that if you take a fish out of water and tell it to be a dog, it will go its whole life thinking that it's dumb. And what many of our society does is drive down, deep down within us, that higher education, that college, that good grades, that all these things mattered, when in real life it doesn't. What matters is that you're happy. What matters is that you find and do what it is that you love. What matters is that you love yourself. And so it's not your fault. And I want you to know that. Now I would like to address every kid in Samoa who is thinking about suicide or is being bullied right now. And just like how my sister was there for me, I want you all to know that I'm there for you. As a big brother for you. So I know how hard it is to tell your parents because we need to look cool in front of the kids. I know it's a tough thing to bring up because we know as the kids who are being bullied that more bullying will continue if we speak up. Well, here I am speaking up for each and every one of you. And I want you to know that I'm here for you. Because at the end of the day, you are still going to do amazing things in this world. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You are unique, and at the end of the day, Tim Story said it best. God's opinion of you makes the opinion of man irrelevant. So if you need to talk to someone, I am here. My name is Kuldip Shergill, and I overcame all the bullies in American Samoa. That was it, Kim. Who's all these white kids in the video? Yeah, that's exactly what you're thinking. I know. But you see what happens, you know, when we compare. When everybody has to be a doctor, everybody has to be a lawyer. They could have been, you know, actors. They could have been musicians. They could have been in the NFL by now. And what better way to address the issue than for me to address my bullies? I'm just kidding. It's just a joke. And that is how you get a video and they press charges on you. Hello, my darling. Jay Shetty said it best. You can't be everything you want to be. He was right about that. You guys can't be a dinosaur. But he did say you can be everything you are.